part 22 in this automated video editing production pipeline journey. Going straight off the last episode, I am going to shoot for the moon and we're going to generate AI automated insights on the video that are going to kind of come in on screen and augment the things I'm saying after I've said them. Couple of parts to this. This isn't going to be complicated, but what we are going to do is get Claude to give us some ideas. So the way I'm thinking about doing this is extending generate content. So this is a freaking massive prompt that we flick off to Anthropic, and they charge me about $1 a call. Not that much, 4.6. And it responds back with all this stuff: titles for the videos, description, summary, the chapters, which is what I drove the overlays in the last video with, factoids, which is what I've just added. I'll talk through that in a second. A full freaking blog post, social media posts, LinkedIn. I should make these config driven actually, and not generate them, because I ain't going to be posting on Twitter for a while. Tags on the thumbnail prompt. So this is a massive prompt. I wouldn't have dreamed of sending something like this to OpenAI a year ago when I was building something similar, but Sonnet 4.6 is handling it. So here's my idea: factoids. So what I want this prompt now to do is return an array of little factoids in different types about the video. So like one thing it could do is a fact check. So if I've said something completely incorrect, very likely, it would go, actually, the iPhone is made by Apple. So say I said, oh, the iPhone's made by Google. And so that'd come back, 340. And yeah, I cannot imagine how much this is going to add in tokens to the cost of this, but who cares? Another one would be just kind of, I don't know, if I'm talking about FFmpeg, it might go, oh, FFmpeg was invented in 2003 or whenever it was invented. That would be more the factoid. What would we call that? We would call that insight. Let's call it insights. In fact, I might call the whole thing insights and call that factoid and call this correction, if that makes sense. And then it spits out a timestamp, the type of factoid, and just a small bit of text. Now we need to tell it what this is so it knows how to generate it. So that's going to be further down in the prompt. So I just need to go insights. We'll follow along with this. Rules for... Oh, I'm outside of the prompt. Go up here. Rules for insights. You are an expert content strategist for YouTube and social media. Respond with valid JSON only. Generate all content assets. Technically, I should do this under narrative analysis, but I think it'll work fine here. Oh, that's interesting. So it actually sends the score for the video in the second prompt. Why do you do that? And pacing notes. Okay. Generate... Key segments. Oh, hang on. This is not gonna work. Okay. I'm gonna unwind this and we'll get Claude to do it. Go back up to PRD. We'll go PRD1 AI overlays. I'm gonna unwind my changes here. Put them in here. and we'll start writing. I'll start writing what I want. Let's take a look at narrative analysis. To pass Claude analysis of the transcript, structural mapping, classify every segment, identify hook, cold open, strongest segment, pass 2 editorial recommendations, cuts, reorders, pacing notes. Where's it best going to fit in? Pass 1. You're an expert video editor and content strategist. Analyze this transcript. Oh wow, target final duration. I didn't realize it did that. Editing style, professional. Transcript, so that's going to be the Whispers transcript. Classify each transcript segment. Return JSON to this schema exactly. We'll put it in here. I'm just going to go for it because it suits this better. Insights, correction on on incorrect information. So that'll come back. Rules: map every transcript segment to exactly one entry in the segment. I'm not even going to give this instructions. I'm going to run it once, see what it comes back with. I can't imagine what it's going to do to the token cost, but we'll see what happens. And then it does a pass 2, and this should just save automatically. Yeah, pass 1, run pass 1, get segments, extract JSON. What does it do with the rest? Okay, we'll run it like that. What I do want to do though is put Claude to work on some ideas for this. So we'll go into Claude, chat, me getting paranoid about my usage again. I am building a system to analyze video content based on the audio. I am prompting, I'm writing a prompt to have Claude generate insights off the transcript. Can you think of some more ideas for things I could ask for? Paste that in, see what it comes back with. Hook, no, don't want that. Cliffhanger, don't want that. Call to action. Ooh, that could be cool. So if I did call to action, if I go, hey, like, subscribe, if it picks that up, it could automatically overlay subscribe, likes. Oh, hell yes. So we'll do that. Now, whoa, having said that, I've done no like, subscribe on any of these videos. So I'll go call to action, subscribe. Let's just do subscribe. Correction on factual inaccuracies. Let's write that. Let's call that interesting facts supporting the video content. We'll do that. Include when subscribe is mentioned. So I'll test this. I'll make a video and, you know, have me saying subscribe, and then we'll see if that works. That's awesome. Joke. Yeah, hell, let's do joke. So what I'm thinking with joke is, like, if I say something funny, I could do like a laugh track. Like I could automate audio coming and going, huh, or some GIF or something. That's another thing I could do with this. I could wire in Giphy. So Giphy have an API. I've worked with this before as well, where you could get it to generate a search term, it could go to Giphy, just pick one at random, and then overlay that in the video as well, overbaking it a bit. So we probably won't do that, but just giving you ideas. Tangent, when the speaker goes off topic and returns. Oh, statistic. Any cited number or data point. Yeah, for sure. This is awesome. So if you think like Fox News or whatever news you watch, I don't watch Fox News, when they're doing overlays and things, you know, here's the weather and here's how economic data is this month, blah, 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 blah. All those overlays, there's a team of people in their production room going, oh, you know, spit this overlay out. This is going to do all that automatically, assuming I don't break the pipeline. Myth bust, explicitly debunking a common conception. Okay, there's going to be too many. What I will do, I'll copy all this because it's awesome, and I'll come back to it. So we'll just run with these for now, and then I can think about those later on, depending on how successful this is. The good thing about having 20 videos in this series to test all this on is when you run this whole process on 20 videos, you start realizing the macro level problems, i.e. the shorts aren't working very well, or the thumbnails aren't working any well. You can't really tease those things out on, you know, one video at a time. So this is the kind of thing where I want to run this on 3 or 4 videos to tune it, so to speak. Okay, this is cool. This may be a 2-parter, but given that works, we've still got Remotion running. What I'll do is rerun narrative analysis and see if it just nails this first time. If it doesn't, we'll give it some rules. I'm hoping it just picks us up. What I might do is go, nah, screw it. Let's just see what it does. Which one was I running? We were doing via number 10 FFmpeg fixes. So we want to do 6 narrative analysis. I'm going to run number 6. That's just that. Clear, paste, go. Broken something. I have formatted the code badly. Let's take a look at the diff. That's just text. Why is that whinging? That should be all right. Oh, okay, that's embedding an actual object, and I've just written bad code. Yeah, okay. So for a Python string, I've got to double quote or double encode the curly brackets. Again, new at Python, learning these things. That's interesting. So see, it has segments. It's doing one-off segments. Could probably do something like that. Let's see what we get. If this doesn't work particularly well, I'll throw the prompt back at Claude and go, hey, how do I improve this? This is an expensive prompt. You don't want to see my Anthropic bill. I mean, the rate I anticipate putting videos out every couple of days, it's not going to be that much. It's certainly cheaper than the amount of people that all this would take to do. Okay, so it's finished. Not perfect, but a good start. So insights, few statistics, few factoids. So you look at that. Webcam side encoding took 20 minutes. Screen side took only 5 minutes for the same source. A 4x disparity using CPU encoding. Guess that's kind of interesting. Source video is 1.36 gig at 26 minutes duration. Pipeline disk usage exploded significantly after adding video output to the split stage. Factoid. CRF, constant rate factories, libx264 controls quality versus file size trade-off. This is awesome. This is just what I wanted, right? So this is stuff I'm referring to, mentioning too quick, and it's just adding more info and context to the video, same as this. So the factoids are really good. Factoid, if the source is audio is already AAC, re-encoding into AAC is wasteful. Ha! Boom. Okay, we are going to run with this. Let's write a PRD. What I'll do, I'll pause again. You don't need to watch me write a PRD, and then when I'm finished, I'll talk you through it. Okay, quick PRD. Extend overlays. Narrative analysis now returns a new insights array of factoids about each video. Giving it a sample. Extend this process, 9 generate overlays. Extend this to process the insights array from the manifest and render overlay videos. Limit the insights rendered to a maximum of 1 per minute. Meaning if this slams out, too many, it will go, whoa, throttle, we're not just going to overlay the screen with crap. In Remotion, it needs to support different overlays. So we've only got that chapter overlay hard-coded. It will need a switch, which is what I'm saying here. Extend the logic so it can accept a type parameter when called and load the different overlay component depending on which one's specified. Factoid overlay. Create a new insight overlay component similar to the chapter overlay. This should appear bottom right of the screen, should slide in from the bottom left, stay on screen for 5 seconds, then slide out. The factoid should have an icon and styling depending on the factoid type. That's copied straight from what I put in narrative analysis. And then finally on render, extend to render factoid overlays as well as the I'll just say chapter overlays. The component isn't relevant at that point. Don't need plan mode on this. This is straightforward. It's already done something like this. Implement this requirement. So it's going to go and do analysis and figure out what's he talking about, gather context from the code. But there's nothing new here. There's nothing special to figure out. Once this is built, assuming it works, what I'll do with this subscribe call to action is I'll intercept that and I'll have a specific component which I'll get Claude to build, like a specific subscribe animation that flies up on screen. So essentially what should happen is every time I say subscribe in a video, God forbid I run it on this one, this thing will appear. But then that throttling 1 per minute should prevent it, just being too annoying. Even 1 per minute's too much. Here I'm not sure what the right approach is, because I guess I've got a little bit of concern that by extending this prompt, I'm kind of overloading narrative analysis with too much to do. That said, I don't think it's going to come back with like loads and loads of these, because it has got to analyze the text and go, am I saying something interesting, or am I just waffling about the trials and tribulations of vibe coding? So however many it came back with in this one for the FFmpeg video, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forget how long this video is. It's at least 5 minutes long. Whoa, right, failed. Whoa, I just did something bad. Just see if we can push Claude along. I think I've just binned its work. Okay, what's happening here? Yes, allow edits. Good, it had that in memory, otherwise it would have had to recreate it. Anyway, as I was saying, so you can see here with these insights, there's quite a lot. So there's one at 1 minute, one at half, 30 seconds in, 1 minute in, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, and another one at 3 minutes in. So they're coming thick and fast. So I'll probably need to tweak the prompt. We'll give it an instruction here. So I'll say, it's going to really make it do a lot of work. Generate insights every couple of... Okay, no. I won't do that. we'll get this logic to filter. So we'll let it generate loads like that, and then we'll write something that just keeps the time since the last one and discards insights that are too close together. So it won't generate every single one. Otherwise these videos will be unwatchable. This is all the kind of stuff that could be configurable. So I could lift all this into config YAML and have like a insights frequency for the overlays to prevent it bombarding the screen. Okay, it's done it. What do we got? Insight overlay. There you go. There's the icons. That's going to need to change. I don't think emojis are going to look too great on screen. I'll get something like Lucid React icons. That's this. For icons. They're really nice. So I'll just find some ones in there. There's other things as well, like Tabler icons. They're good. You can use those. They'll probably be better. Another one is, I think there's one called React icons. This is like a superset because this has lots of different sets. So you can see on the left, at design is a big one. That's a kind of design system React library. Material design is Google's. Icons for Android. Font Awesome is very well known and popular. So React icons, tons to choose from. So we'll do that over the emojis, but we'll run with the emojis for now. Insight overlay, what's it doing? Hopefully, yeah, that's going to put that bottom right. Translate, slide Y, it's going to slide it in. Yep, cool. This should work. Let's look at the script changes. That's me, hasn't changed that. Generate overlays. Render overlay label. Composition ID. Okay. Yeah. So see how... okay. So it did pass the component in. So that it already did support that, and now it's just made it properly support it. Excellent. What's it doing here? So some hard-coded rules on timing. A bit of tweaking here. Sort by timestamp, then limit to max 1 per minute. Perfect. I'm assuming that's just a case of changing that value. We'll lift that into config. Okay. Render. This is something I've added, I've spotted. It's doing all these intermediary videos, which it then deletes at the end. I want to render those max quality. It's doing too many renders on renders on renders, so the quality is going to drop. Hence I need to push this up to max quality. There you go, compose path underlink, overlaid path underlink. That does the delete. In fact, 3. So that'll really bring the quality down. No backend changes needed for number 10. Okay. What we'll do, we'll just render... We'll just generate the overlays. We'll see what this does. Actually, what we can do first is run Studio and see what it looks like. So this is what it's going to look... Oh, look at that. That's so cool. Still going to change the fonts and whatnot, but this is what the animation is going to look like. Oh, look at that. It even fades the background in. Chef's kiss, Claude. I also, just as an aside, I scrolled down on the Remotion dev cases, use cases. So Submagic, I was talking about doing captions with Remotions. Their whole product is done with Remotion. So they've clearly made a SaaS with this, where you upload your short. They probably use Whisper like I am, get the transcript, and then do very nice styles of captions. And I saw in this sort of demo video, you can pick different styles. All of this is very easy for me to do now, so good job, Submagic, very successful, but obviously I've now automated what that product does, so another SaaS I won't be paying for. You can do awesome stuff with Remotion, music visualization, Remotion Recorder, video production tool built entirely in JavaScript. Okay, not sure what that is. Anyway, distracted. Let's get back to work. And we are going to do generate overlays. Like so. So this is going to redo all the chapters, and it's going to redo these overlays as well. And then we might do a render at the end. I'll pause while this is running. Okay, that's finished. We got the 13 chapters that we got out of the last episode, and now 3 insights as well. I think that throttling is applied because we were looking at like these ones that are only 30 seconds apart, so it's ditched one and then gone, I'm doing one at 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 4:21. Perfect. In reality, I may change that depending on whether it's annoying or interesting. There'll be a problem with this where it's gonna potentially come over the top of something on screen that's important. This is part of the problem with automation with something like this. Like, it could legitimately cover up something that you as the viewer are trying to look at. Maybe we tie this in with the motion detection later. Once I have the vectors of what's moving on screen, then I could influence where this is positioned, i.e. bottom right, top right, or top left. Obviously I'm going to be bottom left webcam, all up for grabs. Okay, now we will run render on the final video because I want to see the whole thing. I'll pause again, we'll come back when it's done. Okay, finished. Let's take a look. Renders. So I think there was one. Whoa. So there's my new titles. You can see that up the top. I'll turn the sound off. I think there's one coming at 29 seconds. We'll see. Okay. It works. Needs changes, but the principle works. So I need to watch one of these back with the audio and see if this stuff makes sense. So the titles it's generated, they're a bit weird. I might tweak the prompt for the chapter titles so they make sense a bit more, is what I'm saying. We just saw that problem where it tried to do the insight and the title at the same time. That's an easy tweak. The rendering will just get that to, not allow both to coexist. So the logic where I said don't allow one every minute, I was worrying about moving that into the render pipeline, because once it's collected all these overlays, that will be the right point to go, whoa, there's too many the chapter titles would take precedence, as in we always want those. But these like insights, happy if they're dropped, if it's doing a lot of them. Problem is, if I do it right at the end, then it would force the overlay pipeline to render all of them, which is not the end of the world. I mean, it's just a tiny bit of GPU to render out these overlays. It's certainly quicker than rendering the full video. So maybe we do that. Maybe we just go render everything and let this final stage decide what to include and what to exclude. But there you go, working. So we now have chapter overlays, and we have these factoid overlays as well. Are there any more? There's one. Let's see what this is. I'm going to put the audio on just so we can hear what I'm saying. H.264 video toolbox for Mac and NVIDIA for NVIDIA GPU. Avoid dependencies for detection if possible. This needs to work on both Windows and Macs. Don't worry about this bit, I haven't run it through. This one's important because what I don't want to do is have this running, trying to install some NVIDIA Python package, which is huge and tends to not be easy to deploy. Okay, so a couple of thoughts there. PRD requirements, OS detection, cross-platform, no heavy dependencies. That almost felt like it came in late. And then this factoid, it's not on screen long enough, so we'll increase the amount of time the factoids are on screen for. I'll tell you how I'm going to do that. We'll split the words, and then I will work out a rough reading speed. And then depending on how many words are in the factoid, we'll leave it on screen for as much time as it would take someone to read. Bearing in mind, if you're listening to me as well, it's going to be harder to read and listen. So we'll pad it out a little bit, but that's an easy tweak to make. But it will just mean that those factoids don't occupy more time than they need to. Even the titles could probably be on screen a bit longer. So tiny tweaks. Point is, it all works. We have AI insights coming in these videos with no human intervention. Okay. Next video, I'm going to look at motion detection because it's the last big thing. Like everything else is working, proven. I'm probably not going to make videos about the social media stuff. It's kind of a bit dull. So we'll look at motion detection. That will close this series out because I want to start using this and actually start making slightly better videos than these ones. And we'll do a wrap-up. I'll do kind of a wrap-up video that talks about this whole thing more at a high level. So that'll probably be a bit more interesting, and hopefully encourage folks to watch the full series and wade through my digressions. But yeah, these last two have been surprisingly good. So hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next one.